Hi there, welcome to this Light Walk podcast. In this podcast channel, I talk mostly about spirituality and metaphysics, things out of the 3D world we live in. So, today I'm going to talk about the transition, what happens when we die, the transition of one reality from one reality to another. That is, as I said, death. And I'm also going to touch on what a spiritual person really is, evolution in spirituality. And I'm also going to talk about leadership in this new world we are living in. So, my take on events. The planet is rapidly growing to a higher dimension, as you know, and people are having less and less time to do the same job they normally did with the same fixed amount of time. And certain people are already feeling internal imbalance, change balance of your internal structure, your internal organs, the way you live, the way you do things. People are sensing a change in the world, how the world is, the vibration of the world is going. If you are not noticing it, then you should look quite attentively and you will notice that there is really a change in the world. And this is the beginning of the conscious evolution. And in this beginning of conscious evolution, you see it in a lot of places. You feel serious about certain kind of things. You see the news differently. You just know things are a certain way. Things are different. You see the bigger picture of things, and it reveals themselves. Because at the moment, light and darkness, they are battling out. And this can be seen in the news. You can see it every time you listen to the government. You can see that most of the time, they are always like creating events and trying to cover them. They create news and control it. And then they force it upon the people. And that is how it's been going for aeons. But now it's gradually changing. So it is now possible to look carefully, and we will see. You can see in the politics. You can see that things are not, that they are unable to create news, control it, and impose it on the people. Or in other words, to lie about events and things that are happening in the world, because people are becoming, the consciousness evolution has started since the 21st of December 2012. People are suddenly, they are very aware of what is going on. And this can also be felt in areas or seen in regions where there are conflicts. People are waking up. They are not waking up because they are just agitating for nothing. It's the consciousness that is the new vibration of the planet that is pushing people to a certain sense of freedom, of liberation. They don't care what the consequences are, but they want to feel liberated. They want to feel free. You can see in the Cameroons, with the war going on between the southern Cameroons and the French government, and the French side. You can also notice that the war, despite all what the French side is doing, they create news, they do all sorts of things, they kill, they do. That's what they've been doing, for the system has been doing for aeons, but now it's coming to the open. They are unable to do things and hide them anymore. Unlike before, they used to do it and hide it, and nobody could really see the truth of it. But now, with the energies of the planet are increased every time, with they call them the nodes and nodes. There are certain energy fields that were kept by our seed parents here. Now they have been the capsule, call them energy capsules. Now they have been opened, and so the earth is being bombarded with these energies. That is, the energies of dark and light are being amplified. Let me put it that way. It means anything that is dark is going to be more dark. Darkness, by darkness, I'm talking about the media, the lies. They will lie in your face, and when you catch them, they just change it as if nothing happened. That's what the politics have been doing. And now it's what I term darkness is coming more into the light. And then light is also showing itself more and more and pushing darkness further and further away, because light has already won this battle. So darkness is only showing itself now, what it used to be, for people to see and then choose the light. That's what is happening. So the conflicts in Cameroon is a typical case. Despite all the harassment and killings of the military, the people are resolute. They don't want to know. They are prepared to live, I'm sorry to say that, in the bushes, and they really don't care, because it is consciously driven. The people feel a sense of liberation, that is a wind of change, internal change, that you cannot stop with bullets. That is what is going on. And you can see in the Western Togoland, they are also starting agitating for independence or whatever. That is also the wind of freedom from within, that they are trying to show it, expose it. In Nigeria, we are seeing it with the SARS protests and all those kind of things. The people have woken up to certain corrupt practices of the system, and they are not ready to accept it anymore, because the light is coming from within and it is manifesting itself in the people. They are ready to die for it. And that is happening the whole world. It is just a worldwide phenomenon. So that's what we are facing now. So it's a new world with its new attributes. And the earth is moving now to a place that was promised to humanity for aeons, we are moving now from a position of fear of the system, of the ruling class, to a position of celebration, of peace, of love, and compassion. This situation is also showing itself in areas where people are fighting for freedom, like in the Cameroon, Ambazonia, for example. It's something I've called, they will have some advice for them, because they would have to change their way of doing things if they don't yet understand that the energies of the planet have shifted. It means exactly what I'm trying to say here is that there is basically these two types of energies relating to this Ambazonia struggle as a case. I just take it as a case. There is this old energy type of governance, and you've got also the new energy type of governance. Now, I want to help distinguish them, because in the old way of governance, of type of governance in the past, it usually was through divide and rule. They would come and divide people in order to rule them more effectively. Darkness was dominant, and you could not say anything, because most of the times they create riots. And still, only the government doing it, security forces, they create riots, they have the group of people, they pay who create riots, create all kinds of things, and they will push it and put it on the general population and do as if it was a population, as it was the people doing it themselves, while it's they themselves who are creating those things. The stimulating events, they create news, they create all kinds of things, robbery, they simulate all kinds of things and blame it on the general population. But that's how the old type of governance. That's how they used to do things with the old energy. That is before the 21st of December 2012. Now with the shifting energies, this new earth, the fifth dimension that we are in now, that is the dimension of higher consciousness beings, benevolence, free will, and this kind of energies now permeate the leadership to do things differently, because it's a new type of governance they are going to be faced with. And my advice is the leadership of Ambazonia, what they have to do is to understand that the energies of the planet have shifted, and that if they want to succeed, all they have to do is unite, to be in unity, because the energies of the planet are no more supporting anything division. I know people are going to say, okay, we want our the independence from the French Cameroon. Okay, that is a factual thing. But in one way or the other, we still have to work with the Francophones. That is what the energies of the planets are supporting. They are not supporting anything that is divide and rule, darkness, hatred, anything that has to do with division. The energies of the planet is not supporting it, so it's difficult to win under that condition. The energies of the planet at the moment is geared towards unity, collaboration, compassion, benevolence, and then that's the energies are consciously driven. That is, you use your consciousness. You become more conscious in everything that you do. And the energies right now are in favor of unity, not division. If you still practicing the style of divide and rule is dead and finished. It's rotten. It's no more. It doesn't work anymore. But when you practice this unity, uniting, not division, it will always work, because that's what the energies are supporting. That's what the dimension is supporting now. And I will even go further as saying, assuming that Ambazonia is independent tomorrow, and why couldn't they even experiment with two presidents? That's what I'm trying to say. Creating new kinds of leadership, reinventing politics, doing things differently. You could have two presidents, one for foreign kind of policy and the other one a domestic president. That's an experiment. So it will work out because of this unity thing I'm talking of. And I also will talk about the enablers, people who are, pretentiously hiding with the regime to frustrate the struggle in Ambazonia. I just want my piece of advice to the leadership is that they should not bother themselves with these enablers, because they are part of the system. They are created by the system as a for checks and balances in another sense. Because without these enablers, the leadership would be a little bit lazy, because they make you think. They help you with the checks and balances, and that negativity they bring into this struggle is essential for you, as the leadership, to prove them wrong. Because if you don't have anybody to fight, you will not be able to show your best. So you need them to bring the darkness so that you can combat them and defeat them. And then you can be a better ruler. It's also this issue of dark, yin and yang, dark and light coexisting. They don't go, they're always coexisting. You're fighting each other, darkness, fighting light, and the other way around. And I think also the people in ground zero, they know better. they are awakened. That's why I'm trying to say not that the leadership should not waste their energy too much on these enablers, because the people in ground zero, whether you like it or not, they know better. Their consciousness has changed. It means they can detect who is telling the truth and who is lying without you trying to convince them. They know. They know it consciously, and that is how the plan. Another example is Donald Trump. Since he was elected, they hate him. I mean, the system, the cabal. They have been, since they own the media, been engineered against him, and he's never been treated fairly from day one. But the people, when he's having rallies, is always full. And that's the proof that people are more consciously aware. For the 4 years he's been in power, it's only negative news he's covering. But people are behind him. They support him. That's why I'm saying, why I'm trying to say, people are awake. Whether you cannot fool them easily anymore. They know the difference. It's the same in Ambazonia, and it's the same in Nigeria with the SARS movement, the Western Togoland, and some other African countries. That's what is going on now. It's being driven by the energies of the planet, of the fifth dimension planet that we're in. That's what is driving all the internal consciousness change. And I will now conclude by saying a spiritual person is somebody, for example, because I've been talking a lot about, this is all about spirituality, trying to know more about, a little bit more than what you've been told since birth, expanding your knowledge on every other thing around you. So a very spiritual person is somebody who, for example, walks around balance and knows that God is around. A very spiritual person does not have to yell from the treetops for somebody. When he's walking, does the talking, the way his countenance, the way he talks, the way he behaves, it speaks for itself. A spiritual person is one who, for example, a real spiritual person will walk from one place to another peacefully, without being afraid. It's always comfortable at all times, balanced at all times. It's compassionate at all times. Somebody who is slow to anger, somebody who is slow to be irritated. These are all attributes or qualities of a very spiritual person, which is needed, something that's needed in this fifth dimension, because it's a dimension of higher vibration of benevolence, of goodness, of unity, of compassion. So you need to be also very spiritual in order to balance up with this high vibration. By being this, slow to irritation, slow to anger, compassion at all times, balance at all times, comfortable at all times, walks around in peace and not being afraid to try things, walks around balance, and God is always around you. That is what I term a spiritual person. That is the spiritual person in the fifth dimension. And that's one of the attributes we have to copy in order to balance up and be in tune with the energies of this dimension right now that we are in. So as I said in the beginning, I'm also now going to talk about the transition from one reality to other. That's death. Death, as we know it, is not what people really think, because death in itself is not the end. Death is just the death of the corporeal body, but the soul still continues its journey. Because in one of my podcasts, I did talk about reincarnation, which is just a process of lifetimes after lifetimes here on earth. Because some of us are 1,000 years old in this planet, that we've been coming and going, and we have been both genders, both male and female in one reincarnation. You become a male and you finish that one and something happens and you die. And when you come back again, you can come back as a woman, but with the same soul, which is your divine heritage. It's the same soul that you that comes in, goes away, and then comes back again. You're in different genders, different cultures of the world. You've been in China, you're in Africa, you reincarnate every time with the same soul, but in different corporal body. So it is just the end of the corporeal self, but the soul continues to live on. It's just like rejuvenating your cellular structure, for example, because when we die and we make the transitions to the other side, we meet the angelic collective and we are given instructions after a certain amount of time, and we decide on which family we are going to reincarnate in, and you will be given you will have I won't say it's a contract, but you will be given your own part of a list of things you have to accomplish on earth, which means you will be, because we are all here for a purpose. Only when we arrive on this corporeal body and the 3D world, our memories are wiped, so we cannot have access to the former life we had. But that records of all our past lives, reincarnations, is all in what we call the Akashic records, which are in your DNA, they are in the crystalline grid, and they are also in the cave of creation. So the records of your 1,000 or 500 years you've been reincarnating on and on in the planet is all kept there. So death in itself, now, it's not like it's the end of that particular person. It's just the end of the corporeal body. And then he reincarnates back within a couple of months, within a year, years, depending on the situation. So the reason we are on this planet is to work the puzzle of light and dark, is to work this puzzle. And that is what Jesus Christ was teaching when he came. This love and compassion, working the puzzle with this light and darkness, trying to teach your soul to learn from each reincarnation. And these reincarnations, they occur in groups, in family groups. We've got soul groups. So we reincarnate in groups, and this has been going on for eons. That's how the system of the planet is. Jesus Christ, he came and he showed us that is what was possible. You could die and then come back again. So death is not it is painful that we lose the corporeal body, but it's not as painful as people think, because the death are always coming back. And that's all for today. And I want to thank everybody for listening.